Hey now, how's it going, everybody? This is the Uncanny Omar, and today I have the pleasure of doing a October solicitations early look at the Marvel Collected Editions. With me, to my right, is this lovely lady. Who are you,
Hello.
lovely lady?
Hello, I'm Oddfell. I do a lot of cosplay, and I come on here to talk about releases, and it's always a super fun time.
Yeah.
Awesome. I'm so happy you're here. And down at the bottom, Lars.
Usually at the bottom, yes. Lars Pearson, Mad Norwegian Press, formerly of Wizard Magazine. And unusual to just have the three of us. But you know, Omar, you hang out with such shifty, unreliable people.
Shifty.
Oddfell and I are also shifty. We
Yes.
just happen to show up on this one occasion. But we will betray you at some point, I'm sure.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's
get in line.
inevitable.
Get in line.
Because the most interesting people are inherently unstable.
That's not incorrect.
Yeah.
I believe it. So today, this is going to be the panel because Jess has food poisoning, so he's still recovering. So
Oh,
thoughts for him.
goodness.
Curtis is traveling with his kiddo, driving him somewhere for vacation, I think.
Yeah.
And I believe, Peter didn't get back to me, so I think Peter's super busy around this time. So hopefully, when I get back from Japan and we're looking at this is crazy to say, November solicitations.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I know. We'll have the full panel back again. So hopefully Jess has a speedy recovery. He just got back from Heroes Con, so he might end up having the con crud. So speedy recovery when it comes to that stuff.
Yeah.
All right. So we are looking at the October solicits. We're going to be looking at the collected editions, omnis, and trade paperbacks. We're looking at the content and looking at the prices and, of course, the covers. And you may have noticed that the cover already has changed to the Moon Knight Omnibus Volume 2. So that's on the thumbnail. And things like that happen from time to time. So this gives you the kind of updated look. This will be available. I'm doing this super early because we are flying out to Japan tomorrow. And I still have to do a couple of videos and edit and put them out there, schedule them. But usually we do this at the last week of the month. It's usually when we do this. And then sometimes we do it, like the first week of the month. So, but normally we do it at the end of the month. So this time around, we're doing it really early. This will be available everywhere about halfway through the month is when they do it, about the 15th or so. So this will be available places on July like 15th, the week of the 15th. So let's see here. Hey, Omar, heard Destiny of X is published in the anthologies in French. Any word in English? No, sadly, the anthologies have been discontinued. I talked about it on my overview of how to read this era of X-Men, known as the Krakoa era. But I did hear back from Marvel that series, or that line rather, has been discontinued. So they're focusing on the single series trade paperbacks and the oversized hardcovers. And when it's all said and done, the entire era of Krakoa, we will probably get some Omnis announcements. So yeah. So sorry, I know that was my favorite way to read them too. So I'm a little heartbroken about it as well. And I've been going with cheap graphic novels for most of my orders. This time I did it with in-stock trades. Did anyone have trouble ordering from in-stock trades? I haven't ordered from in-stock trades in a long time, but I've never had issues with them. And any time I ever had like minor issues, they fixed it right away.
Never had a problem. Yeah.
So will you release some Omni announced videos? No, I am not. They are holding that information until I get back, which is really nice. They didn't have to, but they're holding that info from going into the catalog. I think it'll be a list of reprints in a brand new book that's snuck into March of 2023. Or 2024. My gosh, I forget. And then the crazy part about this is that once those are done, moving into the months of August, you're going to start hearing some announcements for August 2024 to January of 2025, which is just insane to think about, but that's just the way the market works now. It used to be different when it was just Diamond that was the distribution, but now they're, PRH. So they need them a lot sooner than the other distribution centers. How comfortable is it reading an omnibus? depending on your level of comfort, I don't know. I've never had an issue. Even the big ones like AVX. Did you ever have an injury or anything happen?
I've had many injuries in my life, but not from reading omnibuses. Although I feel like it is heresy to say. I mean, there are some that get so big, it's not a pleasure to read them. It just kind of isn't. I always felt like
dead to me.
I know I've been dead to you so many times.
So many times.
I mean, I might as well be Resurrection Man here. I always feel like I don't know why 800, 900 pages is kind of like starting at the upper, because that's a really comfortable size to be reading.
800 to 900 pages.
Yeah, and when you start getting up that, or certainly anything up until that is very pleasurable. Anything when you start getting above that, it starts to really become an imposition.
One of the best things I ever got, and I'm gonna let Oddfell chime in too. But one of the best things I ever got was my wife's nursing pillow. Where you put the baby, and like it's a nursing pillow. But anyway, I looked at that and I'm like, I could play video games on that thing. And I borrowed it one day, wrapped it around so it's this thing, it's a pillow that wraps around your waist and you just lay your hands there and play video games. But I used it for Omnis as well. We don't have it anymore. Now I just use, I got so used to it, I just lay a pillow on my lap and put Omnis on there. I forgot about that. I should have marketed that. I should have marketed that as a Omni pillow.
Patented omnibus pillow.
I mean, a friend of mine got the who's also a member, one of your Patreons, got the Fourth World Omnibus and then had to go out and buy a book stand on which to read it properly.
I've seen people use cookbook stands, which is a brilliant idea.
Sometimes.
Right? Or music sheet stands that have a big enough rod, to hold it up, because if you have a small one, you fall over because the books are so heavy.
Tell us about your rod that holds things up. Yes, please.
Yes.
Okay.
Context. Oddfell, have you ever had issues with reading big books like this?
I haven't. Right? Oftentimes I choose smaller collections because I just like having smaller books to read. But the couple times we've gotten omnibus sized books, I haven't really had a problem. But yeah, it's definitely something you want to sit down and have either blankets or a pillow on your lap to kind of not be holding it the entire time. But I don't think they're by any means terrible because they're bulky. They're just heavier books.
I have sometimes awkwardly used we have a computer, we have a sort of a tray table thing that's meant for your laptop. And I have sometimes used that.
Honestly, I think the heaviest book I may have is the Colossal Conan.
Okay.
Because that thing is not just an omnibus size, but it's also taller. So it's the size of an absolute, but it's thick like an omnibus. That might be the only one that I remember thinking, man, it's a pretty heavy book.
Yeah.
You gotta work out. You gotta lift some weights to read Conan, which makes sense. If you're gonna
curls.
Yes. I mean, if you're gonna work out, you might as well do it for a Conan book. Thank you so much, Lionheart, for the super chat, my brother. Omar, did you pack yet? Who's in charge of pack? You know me all too well, dude.
No one's in charge of packing.
Let me tell you what. Let me tell you what the Uncanny Omar has packed so far. I have chosen Metroid Prime. I have chosen Ender Lilies, and I've chosen the Hades video games to take on my Switch with me on the plane. I've chosen one change of clothes to put on my backpack to wrap around my books I'm taking with me in case we get stranded in the city, because you never know. But that's if you are traveling with Omnis, if you're as crazy as I am, wrap your clothes around those Omnis and keep them safe. Keep those corners from getting.
I like how they're more to protect the books than to be worn.
They're not about me. I just figure I'd knock out,
Wearing clothes is kind of ridiculous, but protecting your books just makes complete sense.
Absolutely.
Dude, I've taken two. I don't know if I'll take two Omnis this time around. My wife just keeps frowning at the idea of taking those big, especially for running late and you got to run across the airport to make it to the other gate. Yeah, that's no fun when you've got two big Omnis in your backpack.
When you're traveling to another country, would it not be okay to take your iPad or Kindle or something like that?
Oh, I could.
But I would take my iPad and I would read comics on my iPad.
So what omnibus? I don't know yet. I haven't decided. It's a 13-hour flight, so
it's an important choice.
I could go with something big, like But I've already read AVX so much. It's been a while since I've read Fourth World. That keep me busy. That's going to take longer.
That is also a massive omnibus. My God.
It will take longer than 26 hours, though.
Could you not pick one more slim and economic, like Black Panther by Christopher Priest?
This is what's up. I traveled back last Christmas with 4 Omnis in my suitcase.
Ooh.
Big mistake.
Yeah. Yeah.
You can buy cheap clothes anywhere, but replacing an Omni, yeah, absolutely. Tears. I will say, when last time we went to Japan, their sizes are not American sizes. So if you're usually a medium, do not buy a medium in Japan. Maybe buy like an extra large, because oh my gosh, yeah, I was like, we're like a baby. This is not a medium. I didn't realize that the first time I went, so I remember now. I also bring an iPad when I travel to read my comics, and I have my Surface Pro is what I'll take with me to read current comics. Maybe I'll catch up with what's the big event going on right now, Mr. Sinister. Nope, that's over.
Sinister's done.
Okay, there's a big wedding that's coming. It's in Immortal X-Men. I haven't seen who exactly. Nobody's leaked it yet to me.
But an airplane, it's all over Twitter today. I know who it is.
Oh, is there? This is why I don't social media. Would an airplane tray be good for reading? I have read my Omni. I've read Daredevil Omnis by Frank Miller on airplanes. I've read the the Stand Omni. And I've read the Meta Barons limited edition book because I had to take something big. I'm a madman. I've tested the weight of those things. If ever they need a commercial for flight, and they're like, we need to test the weight of these things, I'm your dude.
I've genuinely been on a flight to Comic-Con, sitting next to Jason Mewes, who plays Jay. And on our way to Comic-Con, he unfolded in his airplane seat this elaborate thing. He was assembling and gluing together model airplanes for the duration of the trip from LaGuardia to San Francisco, which I had to admire his dedication, for one thing. It's not the best place to be assembling model airplanes, but you got some hours to kill.
That's really cool. I've flown next to a couple of famous people, and
were they assembling model airplanes while you were sitting there?
Well, one of them is so embarrassing, and I promise we're about to get started because I gotta get going, because what the heck am I doing? But one of them was so embarrassing because I was like, I recognize this guy. Who the heck is this guy? And I don't want to ask him who he is because I should know who he is. And it was Lloyd Kaufman. If you're a fan of Trauma films,
yeah.
But I didn't recognize him until I recognize him at the end as we're about to leave the plane. And then as he's leaving, I'm like, what's his name? Oh my gosh. So I just yelled out Trauma, and he just smiled and waved at me. And I'm like, I can't. Then I'm like, as soon as I, lose sight of him, of course, I'm like, oh, Lloyd Kaufman. What, am I, an idiot? Why didn't I know this? So that was pretty cool. What about you? You fly a lot. You went to the Secret Invasion premiere, Oddfell.
I did. I've seen the first 2 episodes. It's very good. But yeah, I'll be real. I usually fly Spirit because it's one of the few places that does direct flights to LA without layovers. Mm-hmm. And I don't think very many celebrities would voluntarily fly on Spirit. So.
Well, okay. Oh, okay. Yeah. That's fair.
It tends to be the budget option, which I'm cool with, but I've never run into a celebrity on one of those. So
right.
You better knock on wood on those Spirit Airlines, though, Oddfell, because you never. Oh my gosh, dude, it's that one flight that always worries me. Or you missed your flight. Yeah, our next flight isn't until tomorrow.
That's happened to me a handful of times because they have very sparse flights. But I really like being able to just do a direct and not have to be in like Las Vegas for 3 hours. So.
Mm-hmm. Omar, the children, man. What about the children? Who's helping them pack? Melanie's helping them pack. Yeah, they're fine. I bet they're packed. They're probably packed better than I am. I got video games and 2 books ready to go. They got their clothes ready to like
well, are you? So you're packing them in some sort of suitcase, and then are you checking them in? I mean, that would make sense. You don't have to listen to them on the way there.
My children?
Yeah.
No, they're going. I like my kids. Lars.
Oh, you're one of those weirdos that likes your kids. Okay, fine.
One of those weirdos that likes you. I think most people like their kids. Most people. I want to say all, but no, that's not true. If I went to, thank you for the super chat, Jeff. If I went to Japan, I'd have to get the 10 times 10x t-shirts. Okay, my wife is running down here. Why? Is everything?
What did you just say about my kids?
I didn't say anything.
He said he likes.
Lars, what are you trying to get me in trouble, dude?
We were packed them in a suitcase and I have to listen to them.
Controversial opinion. Your husband said he likes his children.
I do.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
No, I thought you were coming down here to yell at me in the middle of a live stream.
No, hi Lars. How I felt coming to Lars.
Good to see you.
You were just
Good to
here,
see you.
yo.
Kiddos.
Dude, I thought you were gonna knock me out in front of a live stream. I ain't got time for that.
You all have fun.
Thank you, baby. Don't forget to hit that like button, though.
I'm letting him play on 2 accounts.
Thank you. All right, let's go ahead and get started.
Okay.
Let me go ahead and add this to the stream, and I'll make it a little bit bigger.
Oh, speaking of which,
There we go. Okay, let's start. So again, we're looking at the October solicitations for collected editions. Keep in mind, just because it's October does not mean they're coming out in October, because we're already looking at February of 2024. Whew. Which is usually how long, Omnis are. October will be the single issues. November, December are trades and hardcovers. And then January, February were usually the Omnis is where you're going to find them. So finishing out Black Panther by Christopher Priest with a volume 2. Collecting Black Panther 36 or 34 to 62, Incredible Hulk 33, The Crew 1 through 7, and Thor 370. 928 pages, $125. You have 2 covers here. You have Sal Voluto, who provided most of the artwork in the book. And then you have Liam Sharp right there doing the standard edition cover. This is my favorite run on Black Panther.
yeah, me too.
What's yours too, Lars?
Oh, absolutely. And for me, this is just about perfect because they split them into 2 volumes. They're about 900 pages each. Perfect. For me, perfect. I was a little concerned they would go the whole hog and try to do it all at once. But this is much better. And they have the issues of the crew in there, and excellent.
Yeah, I was going to say, if they had done a one and all, it would have been 1,500 pages and probably would have left out the series like the Crew in there.
They've done that. But no, this is great. This is absolutely great.
So Moon Knight got a cover change for the standard edition cover, but I mean, when you got Stephen Platt as a choice, is it even a choice? Like, right. I mean, come on. Unless you do live out of the country and you don't have the availability to get direct market covers. But this is Moon Knight, Mark Spector Omnibus Volume 2. Not only finishing out Moon Knight, Mark Spector Moon Knight, sorry, but also adding the miniseries from the late 90s in here.
Yeah.
I think people told me that what's missing is some Marvel Knights issues, and then you would have the complete Moon Knight from his beginning all the way to the Charlie Houston era with that omnibus.
Okay.
So let's see what's collected in here. Mark Spector, Moon Knight 35 through 60, Moon Knight Special number 1, The Web of Spider-Man 93 and 94, Moon Knight 1 through 4, Moon Knight 1 through 4, so it's 98 and 99, and then Black Panther 20 to 22, and material from Marvel Comics Presents 152 to 154. $125, 1,032 pages.
I'm excited for this one.
So I'm excited. Like, it's so funny because I'm excited for all the wrong reasons. This is this is not some great Mark Spector Moon Knight stuff. There's some rough stories in here. When Terry Cavana took over that book, not my favorite, but oh my gosh, the tail end of that series was the introduction to all of us in the 90s to this guy named Stephen Platt, who we were just blown away by. I think he did a total of 5 issues, 4 internal issues artwork, and that was it. And for some reason, we always think of Moon Knight if you're in the 90s with Stephen Platt, and you just can't get that out of your head. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, I'm very happy for this one because it wraps up that series, and it makes me hopeful that we'll get like a modern era Moon Knight.
Yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry.
I was wondering if you've read it.
When it was coming out, there was an unfortunate sense, rightly or wrongly, that, at the time Marvel was like keeping their line really expanded in what looked like an effort to squeeze out the competition. And there were some titles like this that you felt were kind of on the shelf just to make up the numbers. I've enjoyed later Moon Knight stories more. I think in recent years, they've been much more thoughtful about what they're publishing. So yeah, there's been some terrific stuff in the last 10 years, but
absolutely.
Yeah.
This is this is 90s Moon Knight. It's the stuff I grew up with. My favorite run of Moon Knight is Mark Spector Moon Knight. It was that era with Chuck Dixon and then Jay DeMatteis. But yeah, I mean, there were some okay stories in here, and then some good ones. Some of the miniseries are solid.
Oh yeah, it's not to say there's not good stuff in here. It's just,
you have
it was more variable than one might expect.
Well, you do get the return of like Doug Mensch, right? Like the co-creator of Moon Knight in here. So it does have some good stuff in there. It's not all bad. It's just like, but I do remember this era going, oh man, are they going to collect? Oh, they're going to do it. Cool.
I'm just excited. Yeah. I hope that means they keep collecting them, because I started reading Moon Knight in the 2000s, like the mid 2000s. So it's nice to see the older ones getting collected, because it gives me hope they'll keep going, but also like it makes it easier to now go back and read all of the older ones.
Yeah.
So I'm excited.
Yeah.
Yeah. I hope we get like a modern era Moon Knight. That would be great, because a lot of those are out of print, like the Bendis one, the Jeff Lemire one, the trade paperbacks. The trade paperbacks are gone. Yeah, Lemire is so good. X Factor by Peter David Omnibus Volume 3 has been resolicited, now coming out in March of 2024. And collecting X Factor 40 through 50, 200 through 32, and 224.1. And Nation X Factor, 1,160 pages, $125. There is no issue 51 through 199 if you're thinking like, why is that missing? It's just when they went back to the legacy number of 200. So you had like 2 anniversary issues back to back. You had the 50th anniversary issue, and then they're like, we'll go back to 200, and then you had the 200th anniversary issue. So that's why it looks like you're missing some issues. Now, there should be one more. I haven't heard a single peep about it though, so I hope this one gets enough pre-orders to let Marvel know that we would so love to finish out Peter David's X Factor run, especially with that all new X Factor series.
Yeah.
Which I found a bit underrated. It was a bit rough at first, but when he got in the groove, it was really good.
Yeah, I liked it. I like the costume designs too.
Yeah.
Ultimate X-Men Omnibus Volume 2. We're looking at the Brian Michael Bendis era, but also Brian K. Vaughan stepping in with his Sinister storyline. It was so ridiculous, but I kind of dug.
I really enjoyed that one. I thought that was really good.
It was a good take, and then of course Kirkman came in and kind of, well, never mind. I'll let you find out for yourselves. Ultimate X-Men 34.
It's not Kirkman's best work.
What's that?
It's not Kirkman's best work.
We can talk about that another day.
Okay.
Ultimate, I ain't got the time right now. Ultimate X-Men 34 to 74, Annuals 1 and 2, Ultimate X-Men Fantastic Four number 1, and Ultimate Fantastic Four X-Men number 1. So $125, 1,160 pages. One more to wrap up this era. And I think even in one more, they could add the Ultimatum issues. I know. But they can also add what was that series called? Was it
Did you pinch your nose while you said that?
With Arthur Adams and Jeff Loeb. Was it Ultimate X? I think is what it was called. It didn't last very long.
No.
But
despite my dig at Kirkman, there's some great stuff in here. The Bendis run is really great. The Vaughn run is really great.
It's short, but it's good. I like that.
Yeah,
run.
this book on the whole was incredibly good for a long time. It goes off the rails later, but boy, when it's good, it's good.
Good night. Just how long are Logan's claws in that picture?
They are a bit long. Yeah.
Not long enough. Not long enough. That's how long. I think they changed the cover for this one. I can't remember. Thunderbolts Red Omnibus. This is started off with the Daniel Way run, and then Charles Soule took over the book. Then Ben Acker, Ben Acker ended up finishing the run. So this is Thunderbolts 1 through 32 and annual number 1, 760 pages, $100. So, dude, new Spooey channel. This is funny. ad ultimatum. Marvel wants people to buy the Omnibus, Omar. I know, but dude, before the internet, I didn't think anybody liked the Clone Saga, but boy, was I wrong. You all demanded a reprint of those books. And also, there are people that love Ultimatum. Yeah, more power to them. That's cool. That's great. They love it. Now, it could be because of the artwork, or they actually enjoy that type of story. So, sure.
This is what
it just shows that anything can be put into an omnibus format. Okay, so the standard edition cover here is by Phil Noto, and then Julian Totino Tedesco is doing the variant cover here.
Yeah, I mean, first of all, there are people who want all of it. There's completists. And I've also learned that things that you would routinely think, like, Cap Wolf and the Spider Clone Saga, people want them. People want them. So.
Oh, yeah. I mean, announcing Mark Grunwald's run in omnibus format on Captain America.
Yeah.
Oh, my gosh, yeah. And Cap Wolf better be on that cover of that final volume. That's all I'm saying.
I mean, do we want to take a bet now that it will be? Because it probably will be.
Because I think when people think of Cap Wolf, they're like, well, now I got to read it. Everybody keeps talking about it, right? Like new readers are like that.
Yeah.
And us old readers have been through it, and we're like,
it's a sign of Marvel's.
Not the best of Grunwald.
It's a sign of Marvel's success that they can't always bury their sins. There's a whole bunch of other stuff that wasn't great, but people have forgotten about it utterly. But Marvel, people don't forget.
Yes, a lot of resolicitations are happening, and on our social media, I share the brand new schedule. So if you want to go and check that out, look for it. So that way you can be up to date with what Marvel is releasing. They had to move things over to next year. So Predator, the original Years Omnibus Volume 2. So we're finally getting a Volume 2 of this. You have two covers. You have the Inhugh Gleek cover, which is so awesome without his mask. And then you have the Bob Eggleton cover. So this collects Hell and Hot Water 1 through 3, Primal 1 and 2, Nemesis 1 and 2, Hell, Come and Walk in 1 and 2, Captive, Homeworld miniseries, Genesis miniseries, the Predator 2009 series, Predators 1 through 4, Beating the Bullet, Preserve the Game, Hunters 1 through 5, Hunters 2 1 through 4, and Hunters 3. It's a trilogy 1 through 4. Dark Horse presents 124, 137, and Free Comic Book Day 2009 Predator. Somebody pointed out that something is missing from Volume 1 and 2, and that is the race war. But my question is, does that have anything to do with aliens? Because if they make a Predator or Aliens versus Predator omnibus, could that be put into a Predator versus Aliens omnibus? So I'm just wondering, because I don't know. If not, I will be happy to ask, of course. Otherwise, we're complete on Dark Horse. Okay, so it was left out of the first one. So, but I can ask about adding it to this one, unless they already have a plan to add it to a Aliens versus Predator omnibus, but I don't know.
Right.
How many Predator omnis are we going to get? I think this is the last one, because now we're looking at the 2009 era, and I don't think there was a Predator comic after that. I could be wrong. I didn't keep up with Predator comics. Here's the Spider-Man Clone Saga. Speaking of books that I thought everybody hated, but like I said, there was a demand for it, and so much of demand that now we got a reprint. So it's crazy. Spider-Man Clone Saga Omnibus Volume 2 with a brand new direct market cover. And you have your standard edition cover here by Sal Buscema and the direct market by Mark Bagley. So Spider-Man 402 to 406 Super Special. Adjectively Spider-Man 59 to 63, Super Special Spectacular Spider-Man 225 to 229, and the Super Special Web of Spider-Man 126 to 129, and that's Super Special. And even Venom got a Super Special. New Warriors did not, though. New Warriors 61 through 66, the Jackal Files, Maximum Clonage, Alpha and Omega, Spider-Man Unlimited number 10, Spider-Man Team Up 1, Spider-Man The Lost Years 1 through 3, and Spider-Man The Parker Years. 1,040 pages, $125.
That is a crap ton of Spider-Man.
This is a lot of Spider-Man. And this is also Volume 2. Ben Reilly Volume 1 would be considered your Volume 3 of this particular era. Marvel Studios She-Hulk Attorney at Law. They always release these art of books. And they're all in like a landscape format, too, if you own any of them.
They're gorgeous. If you haven't taken a look at them, they're honestly like really, really good art books.
Marvel sent me a couple in the past, and I've given them all away, and people really like them. I think they're great. The what was it? The Avengers Endgame one was really cool because it showed like one of the plot points that they didn't add into the movie, and I was thinking that would have been really cool. Jeff Loeb and Tim Sell, Hulk Gallery Edition.
Excellent.
So this, of course, being Hulk Gray, coming out in March of 2024. Collecting Hulk Gray 1 through 6, 168 pages, $50. And then I also announced Captain America by Jeff Loeb and Tim Sell Gallery Edition, and that's Captain America White. That one comes out in July.
The Loeb sale stuff for Marvel here is all terrific. I'm getting all those galleries, the Daredevil one, the Spider-Man one. I'll be getting this one. Absolutely terrific.
Yeah, they're beautiful. Like the Gallery Edition, I don't know where Melanie put it. Maybe she took it back upstairs. Because I'm editing that video right now.
And really, these are characters I don't actually buy that often. I don't actually own that much Spider-Man stuff, but I'll buy this because it's Loeb sale.
Well, Phil, can you please hold up your cup?
Yes, we were talking about this earlier.
It's humongous.
Maybe this is a normal size cup. Maybe I'm just very small.
That could be. Has your room been hit by a drink ray? Yeah.
That is not the case.
You live in a doll's house.
It might be possible. That's all I'm saying.
And that's a slightly oversized Barbie mug. Yeah.
Marvel 2-in-1 is getting the Marvel Masterworks treatment. Now we're looking at the volume 7 with Marvel 2-in-1 75 to 82, annuals 5 and 6. You have Blastar on the cover there.
That is a great cover. That is a really good cover.
Yeah.
It's a really cool cover.
And Alan Cooperberg doing that cover. Tom DeFalco, David Michelinie, Doug Bench, some of the writers in there. $75, 296 pages. Look at Larry picking fights already. Gallery editions are the best edition. Best format, period. Fight me.
They are pretty great. I mean, I'm not the best, but I'm really glad Marvel's doing them. Yeah.
This is wow, Rick Ray. That's an old school statement here. Spider-Man hasn't been good since Romita. Rest in peace. Yes, rest in peace, John Romita Sr.
Rest in peace, John Romita Sr. It's that sort of remark that made me stop going to a comic book club in town. They seem to be of the opinion that no good comics were made after like maybe 1972, and I'm like, I can't be a member of your group.
Isn't that the way? I mean, I worked at a couple comic book stores, and the one that I worked at the most, it was like no matter the age group that would come in here, like they were determined to say that, hey, you know, the 70s were the best era of comics, or the 80s were the best era of comics, or the 90s were, no matter when they grew up, it was the best era of comics, and anything afterwards is garbage or trash. And then some would still read comics, which was really cool. I like that. I'm sure Oddfell experienced the same thing working at a comic book store.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, their cutoff point for what was good comics, I'm like, I wasn't even born then. Come on.
Right?
You know? Like there maybe has been a bit of good comics in the last, 35, 40 years.
I mean, and everybody's taste is different too.
Oh, sure.
Just because I like something doesn't mean somebody else is going to.
That said, some of those, old geezers did give me a greater appreciation of some of the line art of the era. They actually walked. I mean, like I was like Rabita Senior anyway, but they walked me through like particularly why it was so great and got into the detail. And it's like, oh yeah, this is really quality stuff.
Oh, I'm not. It always pays to listen to the older generation when it comes to because you do learn. Granted, some of them the approach can be different, right? Some of them can be grouchy, but I actually like talking to those people because I try to figure out what makes them so angry. And then some of them are really kind and informative. I mean, if it wasn't for me not listening to some people that came to the comic book store that were older than I was, because I was 17 working here, and that's when I was introduced to Scrooge comics.
Yeah.
Because I was making fun of like, why are you reading Duck comics? Read X-Men. Read something good, And X-Men was not good during that time either. All right. Marvel Masterworks, The Invincible Iron Man, Volume 17. We're looking at the Dennis O'Neil era.
Great
awesome freaking cover by Luke McDonnell.
Yeah.
$75, 352 pages, collecting Iron Man 171 and 182, and annual number 6. This is the multiverse role-playing game. Multiverse is everywhere.
Yeah.
But this looks to be, is that a hardcover?
Is that like a D&D module?
It looks like it, yeah. Written by Matt Forbeck, Francisco Mana, and Jesus Aburtov are the artists. $49.99, 256 pages.
That's really cool. That's super cool.
Oh, see, I like reading stuff like this. I'm 58 and love comics from every era.
Yeah,
now, that's
I'm not 58, but I too like reading comics from every era. Yeah.
Oddfell, you gonna play this? If Marvel sends it my way, I'm shipping it to you.
I would be down to play that. I dabble in tabletop games, and I think doing like an X-Men setting would be really, really interesting and really fun.
So this is, let's see, multiverse role-playing games, a source book for all things X for players and narrators. This first full-size source book for the Marvel multiverse role-playing game features X-Men.
It looks like it.
Yeah, I don't know if it's tabletop or not, but it would be interesting to see what that is. Alien, now by the Clan Chave is writing this one. I don't think I've seen a lot of his art. I don't think I've seen anything written by him. Collecting Alien 1 through 5, and Andre Brocardo is the artist. Amazing Doc Cockface
cover.
Good.
Amazing. What is that? Ed McGuinness, really? I cannot tell, but based on that face. Ed McGuinness drawing that cover. Amazing Spider-Man by Zeb Wells, Armed and Dangerous. This is volume 7, collecting issues 27 through 31. Declan. Is that how you pronounce his name? Declan? Oh boy. Thank you. I'll try to write that in my many notes of how to learn to pronounce people's names. Thank you for that, though.
Honestly, mad props, because some writer and artist names, I'm like, I have no idea.
Yeah.
My full name is Omar Jair Valdivieso Banduro Messia Marin Rates Espinar. Come at me with how to pronounce names. I never correct anybody. But you know what? I'm not a writer and working in comics, so I try. All right. Yeah, I rewind and learn my last name. You may have to rewind like 15 different times. Silk, Volume 3, Nightmare Boulevard. Written by Emily King and penciled by Ig Boada.
Say your name again.
What?
Say your name again. Say your name again.
The whole thing?
Yes.
Omar Jair Valdivieso Banduro Messia Marin Rates Espinar. Well, that's right. You like that. I forgot you.
Do you need a moment alone now?
It's that rolling of the R's, my dude. It's that rolling of the R's. Oh my gosh! How do you pronounce it? Declan? What? All right, I'm out. I'm the Clan. Unless somebody else can come up with another. You know what? I'm just gonna interview him.
I was trying to find videos of people saying their own names because I figured they would know.
Right.
And that gives it to me.
You would think that, but I remember meeting some creators that are so nice that they don't bother correcting you.
Okay.
Like,
like for Doctor Who,
Sienkiewicz was one.
Yeah.
I remember meeting Sienkiewicz in the early 90s. And nobody knew how to pronounce. I remember people in front of me were like, "How do you say his name?"
Well, they won't correct you, but presumably they're saying it correctly.
Yeah, but they don't correct you. So, and
no.
I think
they let them introduce themselves first.
Well, John Byrne, I can imagine John Byrne correcting everyone on how to say his last name.
Which is why we should mispronounce his name every single time in an interview now. But yeah.
Okay, it's Declan. Oh boy. I'm gonna see myself out of that one. I'll let you all decide how to pronounce it. Spider-Man Volume 2, Who is Spider-Boy? Collecting Spider-Man 8 through 11. This is the series by Dan Slott that kicked off the end of the Spider-Verse and introduced this character of Spider-Boy. But who is Spider-Boy? Mark Bagley.
Spider-Boy.
Mandalorian Season 1 Part 2. I thought this was out for some reason already. Collecting issues 5 through 8. Oh, Part 2 of Season 1. Got it.
Oh.
This is just an adaptation of the series.
Yeah, that's all it is.
Yeah.
Ghost Rider Volume 3. I dig this series. It's been so good so far, knock on wood. Dragged Out of Hell, collecting issues 11 through 16. It still surprises me that it's rated T+ with some of the things they're doing. Then again, they're doing them to demons, so maybe that's the loophole. But Benjamin Percy now has a co-writer. But yeah, really like it. And then Danny Ketch, Ghost Rider, Blood and Vengeance. Howard Mackie returning back to the character. So this is a new miniseries. Collecting Ghost Rider 1 through 4. Could have been Tex. I would love to have seen Tex on that book. Wolverine by Benjamin Percy, Volume 7, $17.99. Collecting Wolverine 37 through 40.
I'm getting the hardcovers of this, which are hopefully continuing, but I don't know.
They are volume. I haven't announced it.
Oh, volume 3 is okay. Yeah.
Yeah, volume 3 is coming, and so is volume 3 of X-Force.
Okay.
And that's all I know so far.
Okay.
Thank you so much. It's a backup story. Thank you for that.
Right.
Yeah, can we just stop talking about the way I pronounce things? I ain't got the time to argue with people. No, that's my serious voice. That's the voice I use with my kids. Chill. Ghost Rider, Wolverine, Weapons of Vengeance. Collecting Ghost Rider, Wolverine, Weapons of Vengeance Alpha, Ghost Rider 17, Wolverine 36, Ghost Rider, Wolverine, Weapons of Vengeance Omega. So this is a new crossover because he's writing both series, I assume. Ryan Stegman's doing the cover, and Jeff Shaw doing the internal artwork. Then we have Immortal X-Men by Kieran Gillen.
Yeah.
Kieran, I think that's how you pronounce that name, but
I hope this is collected in hardcover. This has been really good. This
honestly, since Gillen's been back at Marvel, I feel like he's getting a lot more exposure. So I think things like this would eventually be collected.
It is, but things like his Eternals just came out in softcover, and I don't know if it is getting a hardcover or not. So
well, okay, so we are getting Judgment Day, but that's the way they release things, right? Like we get Devil's Reign, we get War of the Realms, and then eventually they're like, oh, and we're also going to get a Daredevil omnibus, and we're going to get a Thor omnibus by Jason Aaron.
Yeah.
That cover is gorgeous, though.
It is. It really is.
Oh yeah, Mark Brooks kills it on these covers. I think that's all he's doing these days is just covers, though.
Yeah,
he's so good at like textures and fabric. It's insane.
Yeah, Marvel X-Men's been great every month, pretty much.
And I thought it was all through like digital, and it's not. Like I've seen him paint. It's insane and not fair that somebody is that talented. Daredevil and Echo. This is the new miniseries. I just announced the Daredevil omnibus by Chip Zdarsky. I don't think this stuff will be collected in there, but this is the miniseries because she's supposed to be getting her own series.
Yeah.
I think that's been delayed though.
I think
Daredevil and Elektra by Chip Zdarsky, Volume 3.
Now the omnibus for this got announced, didn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But this stuff is not in it because it's a Volume 1.
Okay.
Eventually, I'm sure it will be.
Okay.
More respect for us old geezers. I mean, there's a couple of Silver Age books of Marvel Masterworks, and we still got to look at the epics. Will Jerry Duggan's X-Men get the hardcover treatment? Volume 1 can have 1 through 12, and Volume 2, 13 through 24. I don't know. They've kind of slowed down on the hardcover treatment of books for some reason, and I don't know if that's their way of thinking, okay, we're about to hit the tail end of this in about a year or so. Let's start focusing on omnis, maybe. I don't know. I don't have an answer to it because people have asked me like, what's going on with the New Mutants, and I don't really know what's going on. Deadpool by Alyssa Wong, Volume 2, collecting issues 6 through 10, and I really like their first volume. It made me laugh because I'm not a big fan of their Dr. Aphra, but the Deadpool book was solid. This is by Javier Pina. And Groot, Uprooted. It's getting his own little series by Dan Abnett. Good to see that name.
Yeah.
Collecting all 4 issues of this mini. And continue. I forgot that this was still going. The Ultraman, the Mystery of Ultra 7. I dug the first 2 minis. Let's see here. This is by Kyle Higgins and still Matt Groom. And EJ Sue. I love this Transformers art. Still doing the covers. So collecting the Mystery of Ultra 7, 1 through 5. I don't know if that series went on hiatus or not.
Yeah, I don't know, because I remember seeing the other miniseries, but I didn't know there was another mini coming out for it.
Yeah, there were 2 trades, and then they announced this one for last year, but I guess maybe it got delayed. Star Wars Legends Epic Collection, The Empire, Volume 8. This is Star Wars Empire 5 through 6, 8 through 13, and 15, and then the X-Wing Rogue Squadron half issue, A New Hope Special Edition 1 through 4, Star Wars Tag and Bink are Dead, and material from Star Wars Tales 1, 6, 8 through 10. God, that's a lot. 12, 14, 16, and 19. 496 pages and $44.99.
You know, Curtis is not here, and I always prefer it when these things are read with his sort of Canadian intensity. You know, he would go, Star Wars Legends Epic Collection, The New Republic, Volume 8, TPB. You know, this has Boba Fett on Barracuda and is one of the most requested reprints.
Yes, that's exactly how he was. So intense that Curtis.
Very intense.
I'm missing
the Epic Collections. Yes,
we did get to announce the new reprints, and I gave him a couple of new books that are coming out later next year that we're excited to announce when I get back from Japan. Because that schedule, oh my gosh, man, that schedule also has to be shifted around.
Yeah,
Let me get the super chat. Hamza, I apologize. I was just trolling about the pronunciations. Wasn't trying to come off as a bully, but now I feel bad. You're a great guy. Dude, don't feel bad, man. I've had like 3.5 hours of sleep, and I'm just trying to fly through here. And I wasn't aiming it at you, dude. I swear. I was just in general. Thank you. You know I love you, man. And you didn't even have to pay for that, dude. I'm so sorry. Now I feel guilty that you paid. I don't know how to give you money back. I'll send you a book. Where do you live, Hamza? Oh, please don't tell me overseas. Are you overseas? Whew. All right. But thank you, dude.
Yeah, I'm Curtis's proxy vote of the Quiet Council. Thank you. Yeah.
That's you. And we have another Star Wars book. Man, Star Wars is getting a lot of love with reprints next year.
Yeah.
Star Wars Legends Epic Collection, The New Republic, Volume 7. So this is the stuff that has been previously collected in the Star Wars Boba Fett trade paperback that a lot of people were surprised never came out in Epic Collection, but now here we are. So Bounty on Barracuda and the Fat Lady Swings. I gotta love that title. It's an awesome title. Oh, you live in Massachusetts? Okay, deal. You got yourself a deal, man. Send me an email so I can get your address. When I get back from Japan, I'll send you I'll send you a book with all the people's names I've butchered. Excalibur Collection. This is volume 9. This will be, well, I don't know if it'll be the last one. Maybe. So collecting Excalibur 116 to 125, X-Men Unlimited number 19, and X-Men True Freds is so good to see that in here. And Excalibur 1 through 4. I know it's not great, but I'm so happy Excalibur 2, I think is what we called it, is also in here. Oh my gosh, it's so awesome. Because this stuff has not been collected.
No.
This
is the end of the first ongoing.
Yes, and the beginning of the mini-series.
Yeah.
And I say it might be it because there was also an Excalibur and New Excalibur series that happened in the aughts that had nothing to do with the original Excalibur. No. And I don't know if there's a demand for that to be collected in modern era, like a modern epic era.
Did Claremont write those? Who wrote those?
Claremont came back and wrote them.
Well, if Claremont wrote them, somebody's going to want to buy it. So,
oh yeah, some of us consider that a prelude to the House of M.
Yeah,
because that's where Magneto takes Scarlet Witch, and it's Excalibur. I love Chris Claremont. He does no wrong in my eyes, but I can also admit when
he does wrong in my eyes, but he is one of the great.
Shut up, Lars.
But I can see the logic in doing a volume 10.
But that's the infamous Professor Xavier trying to get out of his wheelchair, and he's saying that so totally hurts. That dialogue.
I forgot about that completely.
That so totally hurts.
Good.
Professor X.
Excellent.
Claremont, I still love him.
I'm not a teenage girl. I just play one on TV. Yes.
Yeah.
But I can see doing more. I can see. Oh boy, X-Force. Here we go.
X-Force, yeah, baby. More of the Nicieza and Capullo era. So not only just X-Force 20 through 26, so it goes past the Fatal Attraction storyline, but it also has Annual 2 and continuing Cable 1 through 4, Deadpool Circle Chase, and Nomad 20. I'm surprised we don't have a Cable Epic Collection line yet. I don't think they'll put them together because Cable kind of goes and does his own thing.
No.
Like those first few issues are kind of tied in the CSS run, but afterwards they are just He's just doing his own thing.
Yeah, maybe they're just too busy publishing other things, but I can see why they do now.
Yeah.
New printing.
Daredevil Epic Collection Last Rites. Epic Collection reprints. Number 15. Collecting Daredevil 283 to 300. Annual number 7. $49.99. 504 pages. I think this is one that people voted on.
Okay.
They shoot anybody with all those guns. Dude, those are like staple guns. Those guns are so awesome. Everybody looking so
it's funny you mentioned
on that cover.
This is an era that's very gun heavy, and at a time when you can sort of presume they're not just going to plug anybody in the chest.
Yeah,
probably.
Well, I mean, like this guy's solar power, he can create earthquakes.
Well, that's the thing. Yeah. With their powers, guns are a liability.
Honestly,
guns can be taken away from them and used against them. Their superpowers can't, on the whole.
And then we're also getting
cool points.
A reprint of Avengers West Coast, Lost in Space Time. Okay. This is volume 2 of the Avengers West Coast, collecting issues 8 through 24, annual number 1, and Avengers annual 15. Guns and Pouches. That was 90s, though. That was 90s.
Yes.
And the Invincible Iron Man. Who was it? Jeff, was he wondering about us old folks? Here's volume 6 finally coming out. Collecting Iron Man 68 through 91 and annual number 3. It's really interesting that Iron Man was the very first Epic collection that was released. And the early stuff doesn't get as much love as like things like Thor or even Cap. But yeah, we're getting volume 6.
Well, he was also the first MCU movie. All things start and end with Iron Man.
Did you say start and end?
Or an end, yeah. But
what is ending?
But not necessarily the stuff in the middle. They won't necessarily care about. Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay, so here we go with Thunderbolt's Dark Reign. People were wondering where this era is, and that's because it's being collected now as a trade paperback. I think people were worried that this stuff would not be collected, but looks like some of the one-shots are. So this collects Thunderbolts 122 to 131 and Deadpool 8 through 9. That's the crossover with Eddie Diggle and then Daniel Way's run. Desperate Measures one-shot, Breaking Point one-shot, International Incident one-shot, and then Reason and Madness one-shot. So not an Epic collection, just Dark Reign. That's it. That's all it's called. This is interesting. X-Men Grand Design. The whole trilogy is now being collected in a trade paperback format if you've never read it. These have been available in treasury editions, in single trades, and then, of course, in omnibus format. And very, very cool. I dug this series so much.
Yeah. Is that one going to be oversized as well, or is that actually going to be standard size now?
Trim size.
Huh. I think it's going to be it's just trade. It looks like the trim size is a trade.
I might have to switch mine out because I love mine, but they're so hard to store because they're like that big.
Yeah.
With the treasury editions?
I think that's what I have. I just have like the ones that are the different like main chapters, but they're like the massive,
the big ones.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, let's meet up. Come to the Ren Fair. I'll give you my omnibus and I'll take those. I actually like those. The paper stock in those were awesome. And I gave, Marvel sent me 3 sets and I gave them all away.
They're really cool. I just got to find a good place to put them.
No, I love them. Spider-Man by Tom Taylor. I'm so glad this is getting a collection because the trade paperbacks are long out of print and hard to find. And this is all Tom Taylor, and it was so good. Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man 1 through 14, and then Free Comic Book Day 2019. It focuses on the neighbors of Spider-Man. So it's not really Spider-Man is in the stories, but it focuses on like the neighbors. It's solid. I dug it. And there's some rough stories in there. Spidey Freshman Year, Robbie Thompson, Nick Bradshaw. This collects Spidey 1 through 12 and Spider-Man Master Plan. 312 pages, $34.99. Lots of Spider-Man. Spider-Man, Great Power, Great Mayhem graphic novel. This is the
Ooh.
digest-sized book. Ali Garza doing the cover there. Written by Various. Pencil by Various. Huh. And then Silver Surfer getting a Mighty Marvel Masterworks. Look at that. That's awesome. That's a Leonardo Romero cover. And then the direct market is the John Buscema cover. The one character that I'm surprised still hasn't had a Mighty Marvel Masterworks is the guy that we were just talking about, the one that starts it all and ends it all, Iron Man. Like everybody, like Captain America, Thor, Spider-Man, Fantastic Four, Silver Surfer, Captain Marvel, Namor.
Yeah.
And I think maybe a lot of it has to do with what's coming out in the movies, but
could
interesting that
be. But where's Silver Surfer appearing? In the movie.
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah, I
was just thinking of Namor and Captain Marvel. This is a really interesting one. This one comes out at the end of the year. I'm glad I'm so happy they're continuing the Mighty Marvel Masterworks. I just recorded our review of Captain Marvel with my kids, and my kids love this era. Like they love they rate the Silver Age a lot higher than I do, which might mean that they're smarter than I am, of course. Or I don't know. I didn't think my kids would click with Silver Age books.
Yes, but also forgive me for pointing out they're children, which means their judgment is compromised by the fact that they are children.
Well, and originally these books were written for kids.
That's in dispute, but okay.
Well, I mean, that was their target audience, Lars. You can't. I mean, you can't deny the Silver Age started at the newsstands for kids. Well, I mean, it wasn't until later they found out that
we won't get into that. That's very complicated.
No, Lars, we're into it. I said I had 3.5 hours of sleep. I'm just kidding. That is a really good topic, though. I wonder, when that changed, when publishers started noticing that change of hey, there's more than just kids reading this stuff. There's adults coming back and collecting these. I wonder when that happened, when they realized.
It also depends on how you define children, for one thing.
Okay.
I believe I'm right in saying that Stan Lee noticeably actually kicked up the reading age a notch or two above.
Oh, yeah.
So, I mean, so was Stan writing for 6-year-olds? Clearly not. But
no. Okay, you're right. Maybe how I define children, but now you got me curious as to when they realized that the demographic wasn't what they thought it was, right? Like kids, and then older people were coming back to reading these stories too. That's a really interesting topic.
It's a complicated,
really cool.
It's a complicated issue.
That'd be a really cool deep dive.
But yeah, no, you got me thinking about it. Okay, so if that's it for right now, and then we'll go back to the beginning in case people missed it. If you want to check out where these books, you live in Europe and you want to find out where you can buy these books, check out waltzcomicshop.com. They have the cheapest pre-order prices for Marvel and DC big books within the EU and flat shipping rates of €12 for all EU countries. All emails are answered within 24 hours. Just head on over to waltzcomicshop.com, type near mint condition at the checkout. You get free shipping for all EU countries with your first order of over €40. That's Waltz Comic Shop, your reliable source for Omnis and premium edition collected editions in Europe. I am running out of steam. All right, let's keep doing this thing. Let's go back to the beginning and kind of give a recap, and then we'll talk about what we're most excited for. Ting, I forgot the freaking Ting. Jazz hands. There we go. Jazz hands. I made my money today. Black Panther by Christopher Priest, wrapping up this run with a volume 2, and Moon Knight Mark Spector Omnibus volume 2. The cover, keep in mind, when I announced it was a different cover, but they've decided to go with those
are both great. Those are both great.
I like this cover.
Yeah,
the plaid one is gorgeous.
The direct market one's badass. Oh, I love that one. X Factor by Peter David volume 3 now be resolicited for March 2024. With the Nick Bradshaw cover being the direct market cover. Then that's the one that I like, that cover because it's the connecting covers, because all of the titles, Astonishing X-Men, that were, relaunched during this era, had a connecting cover by Nick Bradshaw. And the David Yarden cover is the standard edition. And then you have Ultimate X-Men Volume 2, Omnibus Volume 2.
Good stuff.
With Andy Kubert on the direct market, which I kind of dig, despite of what Larry said about his claws. They can always be longer, Larry. And David Finch doing the standard edition cover.
That's a great cover there, too. Gosh.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you have Phil Noto doing the standard edition cover of the Thunderbolts Red, and then Julian Tedesco doing the cover of the direct market. $100, 760 pages. Predator Volume 2, the original years, and it's Race War, right, that I need to ask about. I'm going to do a video when I come back from Japan, so on July 9th, to talk about, I invited Peter to join me, but if y'all want to join me, you're more than happy to, please. I'd love to have you all on. July 9th, talking about all these releases that I'm announced and putting them all in one video, and then seeing what people want to add it to the books and see if we can make that happen, if Marvel can. There's one that I haven't announced yet that I kept going back and forth with them, and they're kind enough to listen and take some advice, but I can see where they're coming from, and when I announce it, you'll know what I'm talking about, because I suggested something. So Omar, tell Marvel that we need gallery editions of the first golden issues of Micronauts. Micronauts. Okay, so really quick, if you're interested at all in Micronauts or ROM, right now, it's just Omnibus. That's it. No talks of epics, no talks of any other format. So if you're at all interested and even if you get epics and you're on the fence about getting it, I don't want anybody to miss out on it, especially when we have licensed products like this, because you never know how long that will be and how long it will be until the next time it can be reprinted.
Yeah.
Just throwing that out there. Maybe, I'm sure epics will come if, the popularity of the books are received so well that they might do it. But as of right now, I was told it's just Omnibus and that's it.
If we get the Omnibuses, my cup is full. I mean, that's pretty great.
Lars, cruising for a bruising, 69-year-old kid here. You won't like me angry. Thank you for the super chat and making me laugh, Jeff. I appreciate that.
I'm used to such remarks being directed my way. So.
You? No. Spider-Man Clone Saga Omnibus Volume 2. The new printing is coming out in March 2024. The Art of She-Hulk, February 2024. And then Jeff Loeb, Tim Sell getting the Hulk Gallery Edition. Happy to see those names on there. Marvel Masterworks Marvel 2-in-1 Volume 7 with the direct market cover and the standard edition cover coming out the same day. And also Marvel Masterworks The Invincible Iron Man Volume 17. Still trying to figure out what this is, but Oddfell's gonna read it and we're gonna play together. We're gonna play together.
It'll be fun.
Alien by that guy and that other guy. Volume 1. I assume it's a guy. Oh my gosh, but sometimes the names can be read because
by a couple of humans, as far as we know.
Andre Sorrentino, for example, right? Anyway, Volume 1, Thaw, and then Amazing Spider-Man by Zeb Wells, Volume 7, Armed and Dangerous, Ed McGuinness drawing Doc Ock. It's really interesting.
That's an odd cover. It's like they're being hit with some ray and turned into Kewpie dolls or something like that.
Silk Volume 3. I dug the first volume. I didn't know it was continuing. Okay, it's a mini series of Silk 1 through 5. And Spider-Man Volume 2. Who is Spider-Boy? Don't read that because it might reveal who Spider-Boy is on the back of the book.
Spoilers! They could reveal.
I don't read back of books anymore because I remember something being spoiled for me years ago, and I was like, why would they put that in the back of the book? Ghost Rider Volume 3, Dragged Out of Hell, continuing Benjamin Percy's run, and Danny Ketch having Howard Mackie return to the character that he co-created.
Yeah.
Wolverine Volume 7. He's fighting a hippie Hulk or Heroes Reborn Hulk. I don't know what he's doing
fueled by tofu.
Mm-hmm. And Wolverine and Ghost Rider, Weapons of Vengeance, getting into a fight here, but written by Percy, who's writing both series. The Immortal X-Men Volume 3.
That cover.
Daredevil and Echo. Daredevil's just everywhere, hanging out with all the ladies. Daredevil and Elektra. but it's never good when it's Daredevil. Like, you have those little mini series. Deadpool and Alyssa Wong, or not Deadpool and Alyssa Wong. Okay, I'm out. Deadpool by Alyssa Wong.
Are they a couple? Are they dating?
Oh my gosh, Groot, uprooted. And I still got one more video to film. What is wrong with me?
You've got
I may
this.
not be. Who asked the question about packing? I may not be packing like at all. I may
You
just
will not be
buy
able to
new
read
clothes.
on the plane. You'll just have to sleep the whole time.
I need it. Ultraman: The Mystery of Ultra 7 and Star Wars Legends Epic Collection: The Empire Volume 8. Also, Epic Collection: The New Republic Volume 7. Excalibur Volume 9, X-Force Volume 3. Where Curtis would be all excited about this stuff.
Yeah.
He's here in spirit, and that's what matters.
Yeah.
Daredevil getting a new printing of Volume 15, Last Rites, and Volume 2 of Avengers West Coast Epic Collection, Lost in Space. When I told Curtis about this one, he was like, we haven't announced that yet. And I thought we had. I think we have, right? We've announced it. Lars, you watch all my videos, you know.
I think so. Yeah.
I'm just kidding, Lars.
I do watch all your epic ones.
Oh, you're so sweet. You're so kind. I take back everything I said about you. Behind your back and in your
No,
face.
you don't. Let's be
No,
honest
I
here.
do
You're
not.
not gonna
I
take
do
it all
not.
back. No.
Iron Man Epic Collection, the War of Supervillains. Oddfell, you want to read the next one? So I don't.
Sure.
All right, what is this?
Thunderbolt-
What is this, Oddfell?
It's the Thunderbolt Dark Reign trade paperback, so it's going to be collecting that many and a bunch of it's like what, one shots, right?
Those are the one shots. That's the Andy Diggle era. And then what's
Yeah.
this?
X-Men Grand Design. The trilogy is going to be in trade paperback formats.
By a guy named Ed.
Yeah, Ed Pisker.
I've met him. I can say his last name, or maybe he just doesn't let me. Doesn't correct me. Spider-Man.
I think that's how you say his last name. I don't know. Spider-Man by Tom Taylor is getting a trade paperback as well. Then we have Spidey Freshman Year trade paperback by Robbie Thompson.
And what is this?
Spider-Man: Great Power, Great Mayhem is also getting a graphic novel. Is there a writer on that one? It looks like it just says Various. So I don't know who wrote
Various.
it.
Various has had a long and storied career.
Yes.
I think they're the half sibling of Vengalis. So
Well played.
thank you.
Well played.
Occasionally I do all right.
And wrapping it up with
The Mighty Marvel Masterworks is getting Silver Surfer Volume 1. The Sentinel of the Spaceway by, it's not by Romero. The Romero cover written by Stanley and Roy Thomas.
that is correct. And collecting Silver Surfer 1 through 4 and Fantastic Four Annual 5 and Nob Brand X13. This is a really good book. This is such a good book. I love the stories collected in here. Okay. What are you all most excited for? Anybody that's watching, and you two wonderful co-hosts. What's the one book you're most excited for? Ladies first. What fell?
Comic wise, I'm probably most excited for the Excalibur epic because I'm so close to having all of them. So I'm excited for that to come out and to get closer to completing all of my Excalibur collection. But I'm also really, really intrigued by the roleplay setting. Excited to see what they do with that. Excited to see what they expand and kind of branch into.
Mm-hmm. And I'm excited for you to read it, and then we can play together and find out what it exactly it is.
Yes.
And a cracking Alan Davis cover there, as usual.
Yeah.
I mean,
He came back to do just the cover for issue 125.
What about you? Some backgrounds of people punching each other or exploding and whatnot. So
right.
What is an Excalibur story without TechNet crashing a wedding?
Oh yeah.
Lars, what about you?
Very first one, Black Panther by Christopher Priest.
You took mine. You took mine.
Sorry. Well, because it's one of those things. Like, I'm not a huge Black Panther reader, all things being equal. But Christopher Priest is such a distinct, interesting writer. I just gobble it up. He's doing a Superman maxi series at the moment, and I'm letting that just come out. I'm going to read it at the end. I will read basically everything he writes. He's just that good.
Oh yeah, this is my favorite run of Black Panther, and wrapping up all the loose ends. The only thing that I wish they had added, and they may still, is that annual during the Ta-Nehisi Coates era of Black Panther. There was an annual that he did a couple of pages that brought back a character that kind of wrapped up that character's story arc, and I hope they include it in here. I don't know if they will or not, but if even if they don't, it is in the Ta-Nehisi Coates Omnibus. Yeah. So very excited that that's coming out. That's a good one. And Moon Knight, just because that was my Moon Knight growing up. So, oh, there's my dude Sugar Man. Where's the hashtags, brother? Where's the hashtags? And I'm going to go through here and look at what everybody is excited for. Can't wait for the Legion of Superheroes Omni.
I would be thrilled. I mean, be a little more specific. There's more.
Paul Levitz, that would be cool. Not a lot of that stuff got collected.
Actually, as long as we're on this topic, much of the Levitz run from the 80s is still uncollected anywhere. And it was pretty good selling at the time and very influential. And yeah, they need to do an omnibus of that. They really do.
Jess isn't even here and we're talking about it.
Yeah, Jess is missing all the Legion love. Various helped the original writer break in the comics.
Oh, yes, that is true. Yeah.
Well played. Did you get a flashback to English class, Oddfell, when I made you read all the books? Did you get freaked out? I put you on the spot. I'm so sorry.
Taking turns reading Romeo and Juliet,
Yeah. Dude, I remember, like, don't screw this up. Don't screw this up. I was reading ahead. I was counting the seats, like what my paragraph would be.
Right.
And then the teacher would jump around. I'm like, oh, damn it.
My system.
I've learned this one paragraph. Now I haven't been paying attention to what everybody else is reading. Yeah, good times. Black Panther, nothing Spidey trade paperback upgrade, if anything. X Factor Volume 3, Excalibur. Yeah. Black Panther, Spider-Man, Freshman Year, X Factor by David, Norrin. I have all the Norrin Rod. Is that his full name? Is that Silver? What, you're getting the Mighty Marvel Masterworks, Larry?
I like how he says, "I have all the original singles." It's like, I don't need to buy any of this. I have all.
Oh, Larry will. Black Panther and X Factor, Blue Panther by Priest.
Blue Panther. I did in a comic book store one time run into a guy locally who claimed to have 30,000 comic books or singles. And it's like
a lot.
God.
Grabbing the Black Panther Omni to finish out the run. Can't wait. Nothing is interesting to me this time around, to be honest. Bar, I'm sorry to. I will astonish you the next time. Okay, Bar.
Yeah.
I will astonish you for the next solicits. I promise you that. Maybe. I don't know why I'm promising anything. Priest Panther 2 or the Omni, you hadn't announced it. I don't know. Maybe people will be excited about it. I got a lot of reprints. I just actually, as I was doing this, I got a confirmation for all the reprints. I think a lot of people will be happy. I will say this. If you voted, you made all these happen. Every single one of the reprints that I'm looking at right now, you all made that happen. Although I do have to check with David about one in particular that I think they're changing out for another character, just because they're like, whoa, there's a lot of this character. Let's move that until later on next year and bring this character in. So that's all I will say for now. Omar, we also need a gallery edition of Stan Lee and Jack Kirby's original graphic novel that has been out of print for decades. You're right. And while we're doing a wish list, the 2001 gallery edition would be great. Jack Kirby. That would be awesome. Introduction of Machine Man. Excalibur to go with Pendragon and my Cap Britain related books. I love that you have that show. The 3 Black Panther epics lead directly to the Christopher Priest Omnis. Yes, that is correct. Because the third one ends with the 90s Marvel Comics Presents. I'm quite excited for Ultimate X-Men Omni 2. Keep bringing on the Ultimate Universe in Omni format.
Yeah.
Can't wait for Ultimate Invasion. See, there's people that love that Ultimate stuff. Ryan, would you also like an Ultimatum Omnibus with Ultimates 3, Ultimatum, and all the crossovers? Moon Knight Omnibus 2 Plat, baby. Never printed in France. Nuff said. Absolutely. Already have X Factor Volume 3 on pre-order. That was it for me this month.
Yeah, and I didn't want to gloss over that one. I mean, collecting all of Peter David's run in X Factor, it's a brilliant run. I know that Omar loves it too. Yeah, just very fortunate to have that one.
Yeah.
Nothing at all for me, but I'll probably grab that Hulk Gray edition since I haven't missed one yet. I guess I'm a completionist for that format now. They're beautiful. And
I may have blanked on this. I see they're doing a direct market edition of that gallery edition. Have they been doing direct market?
They started with I know they did Spider-Man Blue.
Okay.
And we shared that on our social media, what the covers look like.
All right.
I think that might have been the first one. I can't remember if the Wedding album had one or not, but they did start that.
Okay.
I don't think it's a ton for me, but Priest Panther 2 is also mine for sure. It's a good choice, man. Yeah. Is Captain Britain marrying his sister? No, Psylocke has, or I'm sorry, Betsy had. Which one's Psylocke now?
Psylocke
X-Men.
Betsy has purple hair.
Betsy's Captain Britain now.
Yeah,
that's Megan. That's Megan. X Factor.
They're not related as far as we know.
Yeah.
I read this as almost marry kill, and I'm like, what are you doing, Jeff? We're not gonna play that game right now. X Factor, Moon Knight, and Iron Man, Excalibur Epic for me too. Already got all the ones released so far. Yeah. Silver Surfer, Omar. Did I already read this, Larry? I think I've read that already. The original Marvel Multiverse RPG is out already if you're curious. All right, time to do some research. This is the
I want to be an X-Man though.
Yeah.
I like that one.
All right, dibs on Wolverine and Storm and Psylocke and Rogue. Yeah, pretty much
the whole team.
Pretty much a lot of that 90s X-Men team. Truth be told, I need to get that Clone Saga Volume 2, though I noticed there's an error with the listing. It has standard edition 1040 pages, $125, and direct market at 1288 pages at $150. Look at you, clear eyes. Let me look in here. I didn't even catch that. I haven't caught a lot though because I'm freaking exhausted. All right. You're right. 1288 pages. You know what? I bet it's this one. No, hold on. I bet it's this one here. I'll double check with Marvel. But thank you for noticing that. For me, Predator Omnibus, that is for sure, and probably Immortal X-Men. That's such a good book. Omar, speaking of both Japan and Spider-Man, is Japan Spider-Man 29? Maybe you should read my questions. Is Spider-Man 2099 Volume 1 already out of print? And have you been aware of any serious discussions with David about Spider-Man, the manga Omni? No, but you know what I want? I want Spider-Man, the Mexican Adventurers Omni with Gwen. Wow. Have you all seen that art? Just go look that up if you haven't. Woo! That needs to be on the cover. You don't even need Spider-Man. Like, we just need Gwen Stacy on the cover. So in that, like, it's where Gwen lived. So they kind of wrote their own stories for years. It's really cool.
The Omni that doesn't quite get suggested is Spider-Man by Peter David. I would think that between like his Death of Gene DeWolf stuff and For the Neighborhood Spider-Man and all the just amazing Spider-Man issues he wrote, I would
all those little miniseries like the Symbiote Spider-Man stories.
And the Symbiote Spider-Man stuff, surely there's enough for an Omni there.
There is. I just don't know. Man, those okay. I say this, those creator-centric books can also be a pain because eventually they can redundant, right? But it's also a thing like when I announced the Marv Wolfman Omnibus, I think there was somebody in the comments saying, what's the point of this if they're going to make it, if this will eventually be volume 8, maybe? Yeah. And I'm like, well, the point of this is, are you wanting to wait 10 more years or 15 more years before we get there? That's the way that I look at these things now. Like, am I willing to wait? X-Men, for example, like if they reprint something like Age of Apocalypse, right? Yeah. That's a bad one. Forget that one. Fatal Attractions. If they reprint Fatal Attractions, I'm sure some people are going to be like, well, this is going to be covered in the future volume numbers. But if you're looking at Fatal Attractions and we're on volume 5 right now, and if we're looking at the very like 2 years in between omnis, it's gonna be a long time before we get there. It's gonna be years. So a lot of it has to do with how much you're willing to wait for.
The Spider-Man stuff that Peter's written the last 15 years, I wouldn't think is in much danger of being collected somewhere else. Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man, the symbiote Spider-Man stuff, that can go in an Omni on its own. That's probably not going to show up somewhere else. I don't know. I would buy it. I'm one of those weirdos who will buy nearly but not quite everything Peter David has done. So if you give me a Peter David Spider-Man Omni, I'm definitely going to buy it.
Yes, and creator-centric books still sell. Because not everybody wants the entire run. They're like, I remember the run of Peter David's Hulk, and that's all I want. Yeah. So in a way, Marvel looks at it as, okay, yeah, we'll eventually get there and collect everything. Just like the biggest one right now. By the way, don't take astonish as a hint. I just threw that word. I could have said, I'll blow your mind away. And then somebody would have been like, oh, Punisher. He's talking about a Punisher omnibus. Got it. You know what I'm saying? Like, just don't take anything I say as a hint.
No adjective is safe.
No adjectives. Please. The big example of this one, dude, is Frank Miller Daredevil.
Certainly. Yeah.
Okay. Eventually, that's going to be replaced by a volume number. Eventually, that will have the Steve Ditko missing issue, which is not in that omnibus.
Yeah.
So it's a matter of, like, if you just want the Frank Miller Daredevil omnibus, if you're already getting all the Daredevil omnis, you're going to wait until it gets to that volume number, because we're getting a volume 3 next year. But yeah, it's a matter of, like, how long does it take to get there? And do you want to read them now in physical format, or do you just, sure. Like, I want to get it now, and then I'll rebuy it again.
Well, and I am one of those weirdos who I have Frank Miller Daredevil, and I have later Daredevils like Bendis, but I don't collect Daredevil, so I don't need the all-encompassing omnis. People who do, that's great. Someone was asking, did I get all 5 Peter David Hulk omnibuses? Well, of course. Absolutely. Like I say, I'm sure Peter's written something that I don't particularly care about, but most of their collected editions and omnis, I'll gladly get them.
Yeah, now I'm trying to think of something I didn't like Peter David did. Huh. You say how many reprints there are? Can I? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 10, 11, 12. 12 reprints that I'll be announcing when I get back. So
that's a decent bit.
That's a lot. That's a lot of reprints. But I mean, keep in mind, we're looking at January to July of 2024.
Right. Yeah.
And some of those may end up getting shifted around. So I'll double check though. I'll put a tease on Patreon sometime this week. I'll make it go live this week. Omar, are there any other reprints on that list which aren't included in our top 20? I believe David's going to add a couple for a character that I was just talking about. Yeah. So he may move some out to later next year. Hey Omar, do you know if Extreme X-Men 2? That's the other question I have. So I promise when I come back on July 7th, 8th, the July 9th video in Sunday, July 9th at 1, I think I'm going to try to do it at 1 p.m. That's when we can talk about all these things. So please remind me. I have a lot of things that I'm trying to keep up with. Emails sending out to not just Marvel but different publishers. Like I gotta send something to DC. What was it? Was something missing from the latest? I gotta check. But that's an easier way for me just to start a master list of everything that people want added, and whether they add it or not, I don't know. Sometimes they say yes, but it will help me just kind of keep everything together. Omar, would you suggest Berserk as a starter manga for someone? Absolutely. But keep in mind, volume 1 is so different than all the other volumes. So give it a little bit. We need Mexican Spider-Man as soon as possible. Yes, we do. Double kicked up. Gwen Stacy, you knew what was up, Matt. Dang. I want that Mantlo, Milgram, and David stuff in epic format. I want Peter David Omnis for everything he did. Now, that's what's up. Somebody tell DC so we can get Young Justice, Supergirl, and Aquaman. That would be so awesome.
Aquaman, definitely. Maybe with the new Aquaman movie. They'll suck it up and do an omnibus there because, I would definitely buy that one.
Omar's looking at you, Spider-Man by John Byrne. That I actually gave my copy away because it's collected so much better in the next chapter trade paperbacks, which will eventually become epics. but I understand why they did it, but the mapping makes no sense when you're looking at to be continued in Howard Mackey's Spider-Man, and you're missing those issues because they weren't written by John Byrne. And there's a lot of them like that. So I don't think Peter David Spidey would be collected elsewhere. His friendly neighborhood syncs up with his Amazing Spider-Man by JMS. I love just a symbiote Omni with his minis. Well, I mean, if they want to fatten it up, then they can collect his classic stuff and then his spectacular stuff.
Yeah. And yeah, I think the amount of double dipping would be fairly minor. You know, frankly, I found Incredible Hulk Volume 5 by Peter remarkably helpful because it was a remarkable collection of stuff that he wrote, some of which I haven't read. So, yeah.
Why are we getting a Joe Kelly Spider-Man Omni? Because some people really like Joe Kelly's Spider-Man. They find it really funny. So that's one of those creator-centric books like that. Mi hermano, muchas gracias. Gwen Stacy no se murió. ¿Cómo es que sigue viva en México? Es por el Chapo. No, hermano. It's because eventually they just ran out of American stories to translate, and in their version, Gwen lived. She was eating well. That's all I can say. She's kicked over to Mexico. Did I miss Daredevil Volume 3 announcement, or did Omar just slip? No, I announced it with the Zdarsky Daredevil Omnibus. So I have officially announced. I've slipped, but a lot. He's talking about the Punisher. See what I mean? I'll blow your mind. No, I wasn't. I was just speaking in general. Does Aquaman only have one Omni so far? Yeah, because the Silver Age one, wasn't it canceled? What's up, Josh? Hey, buddy, I'm sorry I couldn't go to Heroes Con this year. I will try to go next year. I think my next con I'm going to try to do is Baltimore. Then, are you doing any Ohio cons, Oddfell?
I have PowerCon in August, but I think that is my next Ohio convention.
Okay. Let me know.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because I'm thinking about going to some in Ohio.
Yeah, just let me
Reading order. More
abs. This is a workout manual.
STNS HB Omni. Oh boy. Hellblazer Omni. I got that one. Absolute Alan Moore. Absolute. You're talking about Absolute Transmetropolitan? What are we talking about here? I'm sorry, Matt. What's the Absolute 1, 2, and 3? More abs.
Swamp is Swamp Thing.
Oh, Swamp Thing. I am so.
That makes sense.
So you want to? Oh, which ones do you read first? Oh, read Moore's Absolute 1, 2, and 3 in that order, and then Ennis's.
Yeah, that probably works better. Sorry, because the Moore stuff introduces John Constantine, and Hellblazer picks up on it. Hellblazer's Garth Ennis's take on it, but Garth will,
Oh, and it's the greatest take.
Yeah.
Like everybody's yelling, Swamp Thing. Yeah, sorry guys. Viva Peru, carajo. Thank you, brother. Yes, Swamp Thing. The last issue of Punisher could be the biggest letdown in 23. Felt so lazy. Hashtag I want half.
I actually enjoyed that run.
But I haven't finished it yet. I dig what is going on so far.
I won't say. I admired I admired the way Jason Aaron had a story to tell, and it was a pretty strong story for me.
Do I think JMS quit Soups and Wonder Woman back in 2010, or was he fired? JMS had a tendency to leave things when things weren't working the way he wanted them to. I don't know what happened. I don't know if he's ever come out. So, wow, Absolute Swamp Thing is $35 on Hamilton Books. Is that the original one by Len Wein or the Moore one?
All right.
Yeah. Okay. So that is it for me. I gotta go and record. I gotta go and pack.
Have so much fun.
Yeah. So
yes.
I plan to get into vacation mode sometime soon, but I still got so much to do that it's gonna be a while. Maybe tomorrow on the plane I'll realize, oh yeah, I'm going to another country. I gotta relax.
You probably said this, but our video is going to be appearing while you're gone.
Yes, not every day though. I've got them spaced out. I think there's going to be a total of like 6 days where I don't have a video. That's more than 6. That was 10. I don't know why I held up so many figures. Okay. Like 6 or 7 days.
Not that I would expect breaking news, but still something to keep.
Yeah, I can't do those because one of them has to be approved by another team, and then the other ones, they are, they're waiting on me to get back. So that's really cool. Where can you wonderful people be found when you're not hanging out with me?
You can
We're
go.
never not hanging out with you.
Who are you and where can people find you?
We are so devoted. We never leave your side. Sorry, Oddfell, go ahead.
So I am on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube. I do toy and statue unboxings, Patreon, all that stuff as Oddfell. On Twitter, it's a 0. Everywhere else, it should be a normal O. But yeah, tons of cosplay content, comics content, all kinds of stuff. So definitely check it out. And my next con is Anime Expo in LA. So if you'll be there, I'll be there. It'll be fun.
Nice.
Love it. Love it. Lars, what about you, buddy? Where can people find you since you're such a secretive man that always sneaks out in the middle of the stream?
When one's a Norwegian assassin, one works, with great stealth. No, I'm at madnorwegian.com, and we'll post an announcement tomorrow that our newest Doctor Who release, About Time 4, 2nd edition, Volume 2, which is our massive upgrade of the Tom Baker years, has actually shipped over the weekend to all the pre-orders and Patreon subscribers. That went out over the weekend. Forbidden Planet copies went out. Mainstream distributor or mainstream sources will have to wait until August. But if you ordered it from us, you may already have it. Actually, some people got it on Saturday. So fun times.
That's awesome, man. And I want to thank you all for watching. Thank you to David Gabriel and everyone at Marvel for sending us way in advance.
Yes.
October solicits. These will be available everywhere come middle of the month. So about July 15th, you'll see them pop up everywhere. And a big thank you to my wonderful co-hosts because they make this so much more fun. I will be back. I think actually my first video back from Japan will be the Saturday live stream on July 8th. And then I've mentioned July 9th, kind of doing a recap of all the books coming out from Marvel. Now, I do have to go. I'm going to miss you all. Still a little bit weird that I leave the channel by itself. It's like I don't know. Anyway, thank you all so much for watching. Hit that like button on the way out. Check out cheapgraphicnovels.com. That's all I got.
This is the part where we need to run that little movie thing that says Omar will return.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's it. I will. I'll be more rested the next time you see me live.